see about this one. Is this the right one this time?
Corrections are
Because
encouraged.
yesterday you screwed it
We
up.
got a cup of coffee in here, please.
Oh, I got buttons.
Damn good coffee. And hot.
I always forget about the buttons.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Yeah, I don't know.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with a Dog. You make me laugh.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It's all laughing thing. Kind of optimistic, I think. Well, Bob or you Bob? I don't know. We have Bob. Bobby Bob. Bob. Mr. Bob. Bob. I don't know. I don't think that's right. We'll find Bob. Oh, good morning, folks. It's Tuesday, February 24th, 2026. Freezing cold. Well, I don't know. It's freezing cold. It's supposed to warm up and melt all the snow, and then we're going to get floods and stuff. 26 degrees. Yes, that's freezing cold. Anyway, I hope you're having a good morning wherever you are. We have GD is on a plane right now. He's leaving on a jet plane. Yeah. Elizabeth Alice Croydon will be is supposed to be joining us. Listen, this show was scheduled for Bob Lehman, who was in the second hour, and I think Bob is going to be here. He's an author from Texas, heartland to the homeland, or homeland to the heartland, and all over, but lots of lands and H's. Author. And Elizabeth Alice Croydon said she was going to be here, and she invited a friend of hers, Natalie White. Now, I'm not sure if this is the Natalie White from Survivor, Samoa, the reality show. The finalist, the winner. She's I know the Natalie White that's going to be here is a friend of Elizabeth, obviously, and a feminist artist. That's the best way I can put it. So you have that. I'm looking at, what am I looking at? I'm looking at Twitter. What else am I looking at? This Richard Grenell, right-wing dishbag, Trump carrying, water carrying. He's complaining about the Atlantic, pointing out that the Trump administration and all the, not all the, but a great deal of the followers, embracing Nazi imagery, Nazi rituals, Nazi rallies in Madison Square Garden, all that stuff. They align themselves with Nazi propaganda. And he's upset about that. It's just crap is going to get people killed. You can't call your political enemies Nazis. The Nazis were really bad. Yeah, first of all, a lot of them don't say the Nazis were really bad people. If you listen to them, like people like the Groypers and certain other right-wing pundits, they're not so convinced that the Nazis were bad people, which is pretty astonishing that we live in a time where people can deny that Nazis are bad people. But also, don't blame the left for noticing what you're doing. If you don't want to be called Nazis, stop being Nazis. Stop holding rallies in Madison Square Garden and putting up the Iron Cross and the Sieg Heil all over the place. It's pretty simple. don't blame people for noticing what you're doing. Blame yourself for doing what you're doing and stop doing it. You don't want to be called Nazis? Stop being Nazis. Don't blame. And now talking about other people getting people killed. Let's be clear now. I'm not sure any of these assassination attempts were assassination attempts, but if they were all done by white Trump kids, Trump supporter kids, white dudes, young white men in the MAGA movement. That's who's been trying to kill Trump. If anybody has been trying to kill Trump, I'm not sure anybody really has. I'm still that whole Butler, Pennsylvania thing. I feel fake as fuck it to me. So I'm not trusting any of that stuff. But they won this weekend. This guy was a Trump supporter, apparently afraid of guns. I don't. So what was he doing with a gun? Got himself killed. But it's not it's not news. You know why it's not news? You know why? Because he's a white kid. Because he's not a furry, or he's not trans, or he's not an immigrant. Aryan-looking young man. So yeah. See people like giving me the finger already over there. Oh, you know what? Why do you Trumpers tune in? Just to get filled with some more hate for me? You can do that. Listen, if you want to call me whatever you want to call me. Yesterday I got called a radical left, woke, imbecile, retard, whatever. A lot on Twitter just for saying, because the idea that if you aren't a flag waving go Olympic team, not celebrating the Olympics with enough gusto, you hate America. Like, no, I congratulate the athletes. That doesn't make you a patriot. I don't feel a lot of pride in America right now. And the reason I don't feel because we are, and we're not alone in this. It's not like it's the only country in the world that is, but we stand out for embracing the cult of billionaire pedophilia, Satanists, cannibal rituals, the Epstein class, and we're protecting them. At least in Britain, and they arrest a former prince. Maybe that's a little PR move. Norway, a former prime minister, but at least they're doing something. Here, we're just saying, you know what? We're not even going to investigate this stuff. We're just going to cover it up. We're not going to pay any attention. Just look the other way. Stick your head in the sand. It's not important. And I keep getting these people who are in denial, still in denial, that Donald Trump is implicated in this craziness in any way. And it's overwhelming. It's just overwhelming. The amount of evidence that Trump was up to his dick in Epsteinism. It's just there's so much of it, and it started way before he was around. Oh, you didn't care about this till 2024. No, a lot of us were talking about when Julie K. Brown first started writing about it in 2008, 2009, when Epstein was getting sweetheart deals, and then it came out that it was very tied into some very influential and powerful people. It doesn't matter, Democrat or Republican. And listen, I've never been a Democrat. This is, oh, you're just in denial. You're just afraid to say it. No, I'm not. I am going to vote Democrats until the Republicans um, get their souls back. That's what I want to say. Until they get their souls back, until they get rid of the evil sons of bitches who have taken over the party, the cult members who have taken over that party. But the fact is, I was a registered Republican from 1978 until somewhere around 2000, and then I've been a registered independent ever since. Never been a registered Democrat, but I will, and I have voted for Democrats for the last three elections since 2016, because I am an anti-Trumper, no doubt about it. There's no doubt, because the man is fucking evil to the core. Anyway, that's my rant on that. They're still talking about um, the big snowstorm that hit here. And listen, they lie. They just lie. You know what I should check on? Hold on one second. But they're telling me we got 19 inches here. I look out my window and I know about snowdrifts, and I know about wind, and I know what all I can do. But it's consistently about 4 foot of snow everywhere. Yeah. So Elizabeth is saying she'll be here at 9:15, which is almost now, right? Oh no, we have 5 minutes or so. Anyway, they're telling me I got 19 inches. Uh, I know we've got at least 3 feet everywhere, and in some places more than that. So they lie. Why do they lie? What is the purpose of lying? Anyway, we're supposed to get more snow on Wednesday. Special weather statement. Never got one of these before. A special weather statement. This is like a warning or whatever. Special weather statement. These conditions started at 2:26 a.m. and will last until Tuesday, February 24th, which is today. Okay. Um, but because it's supposed to warm up this week, and when it starts to melt, holy hell, are we going to be underwater? Now, for me, listen, I hate to make it all about me, but it is all about me. Isn't it all about me? Um, I'm on the top of a hill. So, when it floods, it's like, look out below. It's not my thing. Anyway, I'm going to play a brief commercial here. And we'll see. The sponsor's probably saying, you're just talking too much politics here. You got to get off the politics. By the way, I just got a oh man, I just got a guest request email that is it seems to be somebody is either yanking my chain or somebody high up in the current administration might. I can't imagine why somebody that deep in the MAGA world in the Trump administration would want to talk to me. I'm not going to say who it is yet, because I think somebody might be yanking my chain. I don't get a lot of chain yanking as far as guest requests, though, so it's an odd one. Anyway, I'm going to play a commercial and be back in a moment. Again, we are going to be talking to Natalie White today, in first guest up, and second guest Bob Lehman, who is an author from the heartland to the homeland, and he's got a new book out that he wants to talk to us about. In the meantime, I just don't know what to say about this. It's just been so long.
Mind Bloom is helping people achieve life-changing clinical and personal breakthroughs, alchemizing both the psychedelic medication, psychiatric care from psychiatric clinicians, coaches we call psychedelic guides, and a lot of content and meditations and programs into this really transformational experience that, because it's delivered at home, costs a lot less and is a lot more convenient for people to receive.
All right, then. Whatever psychedelic finishing is, we're gonna figure that out. I need some psychedelic starting. Maybe I should put some mushrooms in my coffee. By the way, whatever happened to the mushrooms in the coffee sponsor? And I don't think they were psychedelic mushrooms. So GD is in flight. Now I had put on, I literally did. I went to betonanything.eu and set the odds at 10-1 that he would be here today. And I think he could be here from the plane. I think he's not being here on purpose because he thinks I'm going to lose money. Oh, he packed up his hotspot. He's in the chat room right now. What he said, I packed up my hotspot. I'm looking for it. Oh, so I thought he was. See, I thought he was purposely trying to make me lose money, even though fact is nobody bet on it. No, not one person bet on it. So there you go. Anyway, Elizabeth just contacted me, said she will be here at 10:15. You know what? Once she gets here, I could button my lip and just drink coffee the whole time, right? I'll just make like I'm Jeff Altman and she'll just keep talking. Uh, what is this all about? I'm getting lots of different information. Just got another. What the hell is this? Somebody giving me a guest request pitch. Very interesting pitch here. What is this one all about? I just want to read it to you. I know it's not very cool to conduct business online, but it's one of these days where it's kind of potluck. We're just going by the seat of our pants here. It says your podcast, blah blah blah, feels like the perfect space for blah blah blah, heart-centered conversations, and I'd be honored to be a guest. Here's one of the things. One of the most meaningful parts of it. I'm not going to say a name. Uh, one of the most meaningful parts of my mission is supporting Masai-led efforts in Tanzania to end FGM. You know what FGM is? Chat room, go ahead. Tell me what FGM is. I'll wait a second. It's female genital mutilation. So she's on an effort to end female genital mutilation and uplift women. Also, she partners closely with a Maasai-led NGO that helps women who've left abusive. Well, who've left abusive relationships, build financial independence, and reclaim their voice. Let's share these empowering lessons with your listeners. Is that something you'd be interested in? Chat room, you want this? It is this female mutilation, genital mutilation. Gee, what kind of caveman world are we living in where they're still chopping up women's privates? My God! And what do they get out of that? What and control? Or they just like to suffer. They like to watch suffering. Anyway, in the news today, I could have talked about some of the things in the news. You know what? I'm not going to talk about this stuff in the news. It's just too much. So in the hour two, we're going to have Bob Lehman. Between the Times is his latest book. It's set in Scotland's Cowell Peninsula in the 17th century. Now, this is a guy from Texas writing about Scotland in the 17th century, and the pitch is from homeland to the heartland. That doesn't sound like Scotland is not the heartland. Well, not the heartland of America. It's not even the heartland of planet Earth, is it? What the hell are we talking about here? And that's the Highland, right? Scotland is not. I don't know. So we'll meet Bob in the second hour. In the first hour, we're going to sort of try to meet Natalie White. She doesn't have a camera, so we're going to have a photo of her. Now, again, I'm not sure. This is Natalie is a friend of Elizabeth, and she works with Equal Means Equal, a feminist organization for equal rights for women. And she is I think, artist photographer. I'm sorry that I don't know more about her, but what I think I know about her is she's got this gigantic Polaroid. This is what I read. That Polaroid camera that she turned and taking photos and then turning them into art. Now, you know what? Maybe speaking of crazy. Wait, I didn't say that. Did I say that? Elizabeth is here. Elizabeth will tell us more about Natalie White, right? Natalie's waiting, by the way, in the.
Oh, that's great! I'm excited. Okay.
Yeah, but she doesn't have. It doesn't appear like she has even her microphone on. Like, it looks muted. So I haven't brought her in to say hello or ask her about herself yet.
Okay. All right. We'll try and do that.
Oh. She
What?
unmuted the mic.
Yeah. All right.
So she must be hearing me. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
Well, not really. Maybe she'd be better off not hearing me.
So, well, where were you in your introduction?
I wasn't. I didn't even bother. I was saying I'm not sure if because you yesterday were kind enough to say you thought we had no guests and you went out and got Natalie to be on the program, and I'm very grateful for that. But I was saying I'm not really sure what she does. I think she's an artist, right? But she's
Yes.
also a photographer, and I read somewhere that she's got like a gigantic Polaroid camera, like an oversized.
Yes, dude. I'll let her tell you about that. That is really amazing, and there are only so many photos left. I was thinking that your Mind Dog crew might want to hop in on her Polaroid portraits. They're amazing. She's also walked from New York to DC to bring attention to the Equal Rights Amendment and the struggle of women. She was my ride or die when I went to the Capitol during the Equal Rights Amendment vote and interrupted Senator Ted Cruz and the vote to say that the vote wasn't necessary. She's done stand-up comedy. She has been a high fashion model, and she moves behind the scenes for women's rights.
It sounds like the one other thing that I'm not sure about, if this goes on her resume, is one that people would probably be really fascinated by, but the least impressive thing, according to what you just said. Was she on Survivor? the reality show Survivor?
I don't know. She may be a survivor. You'll have to ask her.
All right. Let's welcome her in right now if she can hear us. Natalie, are you there? Can you hear us?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we're here and we can hear you. Now, were you on Survivor?
No, but there was a woman named Natalie White who won Survivor.
Right.
And if you were to describe what that Natalie White looks like, it would be also the description of what I look like.
It's not, because I have seen some of your photos, and she kind of looks like the one that I'm showing on the screen right now, which is kind of small for people to see here, but it's the one in front of the flag.
Yeah, her flag eclipses it. Have you taken a good look at that flag, Matt?
No, I have not taken a good.
Take a good look at the stars and stripes, bro.
I have to blow it up, right?
I guess so. Can you?
I could try.
Okay, I believe in you.
No, you're the one.
Everybody believe.
Yeah. So let me, because Elizabeth, you didn't hear about this. I have a guest that's coming on who wants to talk about ending female genital mutilation. How do you say
mutilation?
Yeah, mutilation. Thank you. Why did I say mutilization? That's I talk about feminist causes. Oh my God! Like I'm shocked that that's even going on in the world. And I say, what is that really all about? Is it about control? Is it about just sadism? Are you familiar with this practice and how prevalent it is around the world?
Are you asking me or Natalie?
Yes.
You're asking me. Yes, I am. All too well. In Africa, it is there are customs that involve cutting off a woman's clitoris to I know, right? To deny her pleasure and keep her focused on breeding. I've been in dungeons. I go places. People invite me, and I'm like, "Oh, that sounds interesting." Wow. I've been in dungeons where men are paying upwards of $5,000 to sew a woman's pussy shut.
What?
Oh my goodness!
What?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for that description of that. So,
yeah.
I mean, that is ending that is the ultimate feminist cause. No,
sew them by the pussy, right?
Isn't that more? I mean, I know the Equal Rights Amendment, by the way, is something that I've been hearing about for 40 years or more. Why is it still like even in question? But I would think that overrides that the Equal Rights Amendment or any of that kind of stuff. As far as the number one cause for women is stop chopping them up.
Well,
Well, if we had the Equal Rights Amendment in the United States Constitution, then the U.S. would be able to ratify CEDAW, which is the UN Bill of Rights for Women, which would put American female activists at a higher level to be able to go to Africa and do things like fight for female genital mutilation.
My goodness, man! What a world we live in. So, why has what is the stall on the Equal Rights Amendment? Is it that women vote against their own best interests? Because it seems like a lot of that is going on for decades now, for at least 3 decades of a lot of women voting very for people who are very Christian nationalists or whatever, but seem to be against women's rights. Well,
I think the issue is that even when we vote for Democrats, when they get elected, they don't actually want to get things done. So, we go out, we raise money for people who say that they're for the Equal Rights Amendment. Like, for instance, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris during their Democratic debates in their primary, they were actually arguing who was more for the Equal Rights Amendment.
mm-hmm.
And they both said that if they were elected, when they were elected, the Equal Rights Amendment would be in the United States Constitution. There was this back and forth banter about who was more for the ERA. Well, years into Joe Biden's presidency, he still didn't publish the ERA. In fact, what he did was even more confusing, which is that on his last day, he didn't publish the Equal Rights Amendment.
No, because that would get rid of Democratic abortion money and
Yeah,
women's rights money. That's a lot of lobbying right there. That's a powerful lobby. Can't
right.
have
And
that.
yeah, and so Joe Biden goes out without publishing the Equal Rights Amendment, without filing any paperwork, just says, "Oh yeah, I mean, of course the Equal Rights Amendment is the law of the land." Well, no, he didn't. And in fact, he waited to the last day because if
Oh,
we
it was.
had
Go
yeah,
on.
because if he had made that speech uh more than 30 days before his presidency ended, we could have filed an injunction, and the archivist of the United States Constitution would have had to respond within 30 days. And the and who would be representing the archivist would be the Department of Justice, Joe Biden's Department of Justice. So they would either have to do what Joe Biden said or show themselves show everyone who they actually are and keep on fighting against the Equal Rights Amendment, because Joe Biden's Department of Justice was fighting against us in the courts. We had a lawsuit in the courts. Equal Means Equal did to fight to compel the archivist to publish. Joe Biden's Department of Justice fought
yeah,
against us in the courts. So he can go out and he can say anything he wants and he can make any speech he wants. That is not what he did in the courts. That is not what he did legally. He wanted to look like he was the hero. His administration wanted him to look like he was the hero because we had so much pressure on him to publish. And if he had what he and so what he did was just talk. He did nothing else.
bottom line is it's not working. It's not. Women aren't voting for him anyway, even with all the posing.
Well, even with Joe Biden getting an unprecedented 10 million more votes than any Democrat had ever gotten in the history of the United States election, he still didn't publish the Equal Rights Amendment.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they spent a lot of money wasting our time. Matt, Senator Gillibrand wrote what's called placebo legislation, wasted Senate floor time saying, "Oh, we gotta reaffirm this 28th Amendment, this Equal Rights Amendment." There were articles written on the notebooks that Gillibrand was carrying around with the Equal Rights Amendment legislation. It was all about whether you were going to affirm or not affirm the Equal Rights Amendment. Natalie and I spent our days watching the vote and the news leading up to that. I had a little mishap from the peanut gallery when Senator Ted Cruz was allowed to vote on my rights. I interrupted. I wound up wearing shackles and spending the night in jail. But I don't want to focus on that. What I want to focus on is all the time wasted. I mean, here we are with this placebo legislation that is just getting a vote to affirm that the Equal Rights Amendment exists. And it wasted all of our time. And because Joe Biden could publish it at any minute. He could call the archivist and say, publish this. Equal means equals. Attorney Arlene Rocky cites the code that he had to invoke. I don't know if Natalie has that memorized. I used to. I don't. It's like U.S. Code 01 subsection something. Yeah. That's where my expertise fall off, because I've been pulling the wool over my own eyes and saying maybe we should just, focus on genital mutilation. But
Yes. I'm
Project
sorry.
Esther is, forcing us into boot camps to get married. What?
Well, listen, I've got enough flack yesterday being called a radical left woke libtard, whatever I got called yesterday. Now
Whoa.
I'm gonna be called a male feminist, which that hurts. That hurts. But clearly we don't care about women. We don't care about women because we don't even care about teenage girls getting just like and this is I'm called an America hater for saying that we this is an embarrassment. This country is saying to the world that we don't care. Let the rich white men do whatever they want, and if so, we're that far away from genital mutilation in this country. I mean, it's not a big leap.
No, to me it looks like lobbyists from different countries got together, and Iran and the Saudis and Qatar, like, hey man, we really like doing business with the United States, but your women, they're out of control. We can't control them. So if you could just peel back their rights, we'd feel a little more comfortable giving you that jet plane.
We have to say good morning to GD, who is too technically lame to let himself in. I had to push a button for him, and
I hear birds.
Well, I couldn't let myself in because I'm on my tablet, because I packed everything up last night thinking that I would be at the airport when you aired. I miscalculated my time.
Oh, so where are you now? You're on like somebody's front porch. Where the hell are you?
Yeah, I'm on somebody's back porch. Yes. But I don't know who. I was walking along and I realized, shit, it's actually 9/11. I mean, that was the time on my phone when I realized that I miscalculated my time.
That's a bad omen when you're getting ready to take a flight. Let me tell you. Maybe you want to erase that from your memory.
Well,
anyway, good morning. We're talking about.
Look, I have a box cutter if I need it.
Oh, okay. We're talking about the Equal Rights Amendment, and this organization. Equal means equal. I think I got it in the scroll there. Do I? Yes. Equal means equal.
Yes, I see it. .org.
What exactly do they do, Natalie? I mean, other than lobbying and keep pounding the message home, what else can you do at this point for the cause?
Well, we currently have a lawsuit in the first district compelling the archivist to public, compelling the United States Supreme Court. We're going to eventually appeal this up to the United States Supreme Court to rule on the ERA. Um, there was this really tricky thing that was done in California where this kid named Vikram Valame filed a pro se, meaning he filed on behalf of himself, a lawsuit that said that the Equal Rights Amendment is valid. Because the Equal Rights Amendment is valid, women have to sign up for the draft. And because the Rights Amendment is valid, women get bumped down to rational basis scrutiny in the courts for discrimination cases, for discrimination against women cases. What we've always been fighting for, so rational basis scrutiny is the bottom level of scrutiny that's allowed. It's what's allowed to discriminate against the class of people if you can find any reason whatsoever at all. What
Right.
women are currently at is intermediate scrutiny, meaning that they have to find a good reason to discriminate against women. Like these are like legal things, but strict scrutiny means that you have to that there has to be a very good reason to discriminate against people. So at the top where strict scrutiny is, that's race, religion, national origin. We've been fighting for women to be bumped up to strict scrutiny, which would mean that um, there would be very little discrimination against women under strict scrutiny. So, but we found out that this kid, Vikram Valame, who is filing pro se, he actually is employed by the Cato Institute, and he goes to. For those of you who don't know what the Cato Institute, it is formerly known as the Charles Koch Institute, as in those Koch brothers, the ones that supposedly work in the background. They aren't working on in the background on this. They are working on the front lines because Vikram Valame has on his LinkedIn that he works for the Cato Institute while he goes to George Washington University. Okay, George Washington University is the most expensive university in this nation. Okay, and he's paying out of state tuition from California to go to Washington, D.C. Okay, yeah, it pretty much sounds like the Cato Institute, if I had to guess, which I think I'm making a good guess here, that the Cato Institute is paying for his college.
Wow.
And that they're paying for his college because they had him file all of this paperwork, which was definitely not filed by a high school student. It was filed by a professional lawyer. Okay. Well, even though he claims he filed it, it was not written by him. It was definitely written by the Cato Institute lawyers. And so we had to file our lawsuit, equal means equal, in the First Circuit in order to be, when the Supreme Court pulls these cases up, that they can't you know just have his Cato Institute lawyers fight for women's rights to get the ERA validated so that women would have to go die for our countries while having the lowest amount of rights in this country, even bumped down from what we already have right now.
Wow. It's
Now, I have a question.
Go ahead. You got a question there?
No, you had mentioned the Koch brothers and how they were no longer in the background. You mean that they are vocally out in public, or is it just that their money is no longer secret? Because they were in the background for a very long time, I think, until Rachel Maddow outed them. And then they became like, oh well, they know about us now. So I didn't know, were they like out there like making speeches, or there's just their money is no longer secret?
Well, reason why I'm saying that they're no longer in the background is because Vikram Valame filed this lawsuit in California. Vikram Valame is a George Washington University student who, on his LinkedIn profile, proudly states that he works for the Cato Institute. So it was pretty easy to put two and two together and make four that the Cato Institute
Right. They're
is
not working as hard to keep it a
right.
secret.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I was just wondering because the Koch brothers tried to keep things secret because they have their money and there's so many companies If you
Yeah.
started like if you started boycotting them, we probably have to like start wiping our own butts with Ivy leaves or something, because I think they own all the
Bamboo
toilet
toilet
paper too.
paper.
Yeah, so yeah,
That's not
Bamboo toilet paper
pleasant morning
saves
thought.
trees. But
It's the morning time. We don't need to go with butt wiping.
I'm sorry. It's, in the morning is the first time you do go. Usually, most people, it's like the first the first thing you do is like poop, pee, shower,
extra
shave. So yeah,
meditation.
I think
Yes,
it's 11
yes.
o'clock p.m. Discussion, but let's move on. It's
it's 11
really,
o'clock somewhere.
yeah, it's 11. Thank you. Uh, it's really difficult for me to even say, patience or to preach patience, because I'm the most impatient person in the world. But with the court structure, the Supreme Court structure the way it is now, is there any hope of the Supreme Court voting in or deciding in the right way for this as the court is constructed now?
Well, they're a textualist court, so if you follow the text of the Constitution in Article 5, you would you would have to rule in our favor. But
Well,
let's see if they care more about the text of the Constitution, or if they care more about hating women. So let's see if they throw away all of their beliefs in their constitutional law studies, in order to completely disregard a textualist constitutionalist argument in order to hate women, which would be really
It's a lot of
which would
hate.
really kind of throw away all of these things that people could argue, that are people that are arguing for gun rights, because they stick to the strict constitutionalist argument when they're going around and fighting Second Amendment arguments. But if they don't fight in favor of the ERA being law on a textualist argument, then every textualist argument could be thrown out, because lawyers all over this country could say, well, they didn't follow the textualist argument for the Equal Rights Amendment.
Yeah.
So let's see what's more important to the conservative judges. Is it the words of the Constitution, or is it them hating women?
Yeah, and
Let's see.
again, just to back up my point about patience, it's such a long game, because first of all, you got to hope somebody's going to die or retire, and that it seems like some of these guys are invincible. Clarence Thomas is going to live forever,
Uh,
and then you have to hope that the dictatorship isn't going to hold, and sooner or later there will be a change in power. So it could be forever before the court changes. It just seems to me like it's hard to be optimistic and bring any kind of case against people who are just living in the dark ages. So
Well, back in the 1970s, the Republicans did support the Equal Rights Amendment.
Yeah,
I think that
but they
we
were a
just,
kinder, gentler party then.
They
yeah. Well,
they have
They were.
definitely changed a lot, and you know what? I get a lot of grief for saying the Republicans sold their souls. What souls? They never had any souls. Well, that's not exactly true. At some point, they were a lot more humane than they are now.
Eisenhower was a really decent president. The as a matter in my family, when we were kids, we were taught to register as Republicans as an homage to Eisenhower, but vote as a Democrat as an homage to FDR. That was the motto in our family.
That seems backwards from John Prine's line. Grandpa was a carpenter. That song, he says he voted for Eisenhower because Lincoln won the war, whatever that means. So they were.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Yeah.
so if you look at the background of this photograph, the flag,
Yeah, I can't see it. I'm sorry. Let me see if
it's
I can.
Natalie.
I know I
Natalie,
could see her, but I can't see the flag.
No, I'm
look,
also in the flag.
Oh, let me see if I can blow it. I'll do my best to see if we can enlarge this here. Um, Now there's more than one, right? There's one in a white dress and there's one in a black, right? Or am I just completely shot about that?
you mean
I'm sure
the
that there's
red and
many.
white, the stripes?
No, there's a picture here. This is a different picture than the one that I have. The one that I have up there, she's uh wearing black. And let me take that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
got
okay,
it.
yeah.
And then the other one, she's wearing white, right?
Yes, got it.
All right, but I still can't see her in the background there. I'm trying
You
my
had to take
best.
the
So
flag off.
I
Yeah.
am the flag. The I am painted red and white with red, white, and blue backgrounds to make up the stars and stripes.
Ah.
And there's 76
Oh
separate
yeah,
giant
okay.
Polaroids.
Now we're seeing it. So, well, tell me about the oversized Polaroid. What is that all about? It's you have a gigantic Polaroid, or is the actual film being developed large? I don't. What is this gigantic Polaroid?
So they actually come out of the camera that size with the borders. They're about 3 feet tall by 2 feet wide, and it was a camera made in the late 1970s by Polaroid. And Polaroid stopped making film in 2008. They declared bankruptcy in 2009, and so the camera that made this, and it's a large peel apart Polaroid. The camera is taller than I am, so it in real time develops the peel apart Polaroid that's that large.
Very cool.
Um,
Okay, so it's like a oversized land camera.
it is a land camera, yes.
Okay.
So yeah, tell people at home hit your full screen. Come out of the browser and hit your full screen on the video, and you'll see a lot more detail in there. You can see different directions of the face in the stars and stripes, and different body poses in the stars. Very good, very cool stuff. Where did the inspiration for this come from?
Well, this was for a show that I did in 2016 called Natalie White for Equal Rights. I'm an artist, and so when I found out that women didn't have equal rights in the United States Constitution, I was like very extremely angry. And then I figured out, well, I'm an artist. It's my job to, reflect society, as many artists have done, before me. And so I said, you know what, this is what I can do. So I'm going to use my talents for good, and created Natalie White for Equal Rights. And then went on to be the vice president of Equal Means Equal. And might I add, I know we were talking about this before, but Elizabeth Croydon, when she was yelling in Congress and
Bellowing.
she she disturbed everyone in the room. Like she was
That was
so
yesterday. Oh,
loud.
I'm sorry.
She was so loud that her voice was jumping off the circular ceiling
Oh, it sounded
of
great.
Congress, and it visibly shook like everyone, including Lindsey Graham and Ted
Yeah.
Cruz, who
Yeah,
were
Ted looked
on
like a deer caught in lights, and his
like
wrist twitched a little bit. Like if I had a gun,
yeah,
I'd
like
draw it.
so like I was sitting next to her, like my heart was vibrating. She was so loud.
If I could say, Lindsey Graham probably wasn't shaking. It was probably just the vapors. So
No, believe me, I was in a terrifying form. I heard.
Actually, to be fair, it's hard to really catch your breath when you're wearing a very tight corset. So,
Yes, that's it exactly.
uh,
Yeah, no, it was really fun doing that action, and I just had enough. I had sat through Natalie and I sat through all the Democratic speeches about affirming women's rights, and no one brought up that we could, publish it at any moment, and that was very frustrating. And then the next day, and plus the speeches are just horrible. Like They were horrible speeches. They were like, a fifth grade speech given to a senator to read because they only think Americans can, process a fifth grade speech. And actually, tragically, they may be right. But I don't want to look at that. I'm pulling the wool over my own eyes. No, I trained for 30 years in the theater. So I trained vocally for 30 years, and I studied under a very famous black street theater actress in DC, Linda Gravatt. And as I was using the circular ceiling to amplify my voice and shoot it down on the floor of the Senate so the stenographers would hear me word for word, I just took pride in hearing the women that have shaped my life being proud of me. Linda Gravatt being one.
We're
But yeah,
looking at
I
some.
was loud,
Eh,
wasn't I?
yeah, yeah, I say, and training aside, she is just naturally loud.
Yeah. We're looking at. I just
It's
did
all training now. I
a
mean,
Google.
when does the artist, once you train at a certain point, that
I'm,
training just becomes part of you. So
I'm scrolling through some images here in the Google search
yeah.
for Natalie's work here. It's interesting that we have this one picture of the bronze statue of a lady holding a flag, and then it is kind of blurred out because you can see breasts in one shot. It's like it's on.
Oh yeah, you better censor that.
It's so weird that it's right next to it, pretty much the same image. It's just zoomed in, and this one is blurred out for image, child protection, whatever that stuff is.
Oh
They need
yeah.
to protect children from people like Jeffrey Epstein. That not me.
Right,
Not a sculpture of a woman.
right,
Okay.
right.
And
My parents didn't cover my eyes at the National Museum on the Mall when I was a kid, and I saw all the Greek statues.
So, so hold on. Is that a bronze sculpture? You sculpted that
yes, I did.
out of a bronze? Wow. That's a how long? How much work is that?
It's
To
a lot. It's
I
a lot
bet.
of work.
I would
It's
bet.
many, many hours of work.
Hours.
Yeah.
I would have thought you were going to say years.
It took about 6 months to finish it from the beginning to the end.
Wow, incredible work
That's
there.
just because I had nothing else to do, though, you know.
Well, so how do you how does the how do you use the art to kind of work as a activist and get the message out there? Do people necessarily gravitate towards the message because of the art?
I think that the art educated a lot of people who wouldn't have known. I live in New York City, and I'm an artist that has been in New York City for longer than I should say. Um, and the art world of New York City is kind of, like the insider people who are, rich and powerful and wealthy. So educating at least some of those people um is important.
All right. Well, if I didn't realize you were in New York, I'll make you feel at home here.
Oh,
Um,
thanks. Yeah. Oh
uh,
man,
yeah.
it's rough out there. Rough.
uh, now, so on the equal means equal, what exactly? I mean, we have a website up there. There it looks like you organize marches and stuff. What what is the call to action for people there? Or is it a place to take donations? What's the whole point of the website? Equal means equal.
So on equalmeansequal.org, you can donate money, you can follow our actions, you can support our court cases. We really need to educate the public about this because there's an education issue where it's not like we can really fit constitutional law into a soundbite.
Yeah.
And so when we say women don't have equal rights in the United States Constitution, most people don't even know how to amend the United States Constitution. Unfortunately, we've done it so little time, so little amount of times that I feel like there should be 100 amendments to the United States Constitution. I feel that if we, brought back Alexander Hamilton, he'd be, scratching his head going, why aren't there 100? Why have you not updated this document?
Yeah, they
So
intended it. Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Um,
Sorry.
no, I'm sorry. I should have waited. I would say that was their intention for us to update it like every generation.
Right.
To keep
Like
to
with
keep pace with the time.
exactly.
So
In
why
fact, they
haven't
even
they?
say it. They even say it in the Constitution.
If I could point
Right.
the
Please.
finger, if I could point the finger of blame here, the question why haven't they? I would say, and this is Arizona, Nevada, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Alabama, Louisiana. What else am I missing here?
Texas.
Yeah, it's mostly South. 38 states have ratified the ERA, but it's you could show the map here of ones who haven't, and it's kind of telling. So I would think focusing all the energy on those states that just seem to be resisting would
Well,
be
well, Nevada did ratify, and Texas ratified back in 1972, I
oh
believe.
Okay.
So, we don't need any more states to ratify. We have 38. We have the required number. What we don't have, well, I think that this is the issue. You know how they say in pharmaceuticals, there's no money to be made in a cure? In
Right.
politics, there's no money to be made in a resolution. So
Right.
they keep on, like, every time there's an issue, um, that's out there, whether it be Roe versus Wade being overturned, whether it be abortion rights, the Equal Rights Amendment, anything like this. Democrats send out an email and they fundraise,
right,
and they make a lot of money, and they fundraise. They get women and minorities to volunteer for their campaigns, so they get free labor and they get free money. Why I a lot of them don't really care about anything except for their own power and getting more and more of it. So until they start actually caring about the people of this country and the humans of this world, they will not get this done, because it is against their own self-interest to actually find a resolution on any of these issues.
so for you personally, how do you maintain your energy for this cause? Because it seems awfully discouraging, and from my perspective, not all that optimistic or hopeful. Because it does it again. It just seems like Roe v. Wade being overturned, all this stuff. It seems like we're moving further away. How do you keep your energy focused and keep hopeful for the cause you're working for?
Well, because I know that there's a lot of women who want this, who desperately want this, and we have the numbers. What we just don't have is the money and the power.
Yeah, I wish I could. Maybe in New York City you see a lot of women. Out here, I'm on Long Island, and boy, oh boy, I see a lot of women who are just they hate. You talk about men who hate women. Women hate women a lot in this country. It seems like, I saw women celebrating losing their abortion rights, and a lot of them in mass. So it feels like, boy, when you talk about education, you have to kind of reprogram women who enjoy being second class citizens. It's
I don't think that they understand where we can go back to. And it was in 1972, it was still legal in the state of New York for a husband to rape his wife.
right. Yeah.
It wasn't
In Maryland
until
as well. In
it
Maryland
was
as well.
yeah.
Well, I don't know about 72. My father had raped my mother in 57. So
But you're right. They don't understand how far they can go back. But right now, there is definitely some people who want to take the vote away from women. I mean, go back to all that. I mean, so, but I don't know. It just seems like I don't know if it's a biblical thing, like, well, the woman is supposed to serve the husband, whatever. That because I'm hearing a lot of that from the Christian movement, and they're not even real Christians; they're fake Christians.
Well,
But
this is where the ERA comes in, which is that, none of these things would be able to be done if we had the force of a constitutional amendment. All of these laws that we have that are good for women can be repealed at any time for lack of constitutional foundation. The
right,
ERA is the rising tide to all of the positive legislation for women.
yeah. For people listening on the radio, I just want to say Elizabeth had a personal issue. She had to step away for a moment because they're probably saying, "What happened? She's usually so talkative. She's not. What's going on?" Um, I want to give you a chance to hate on me because women hate on me. um, when I talk about when the abortion issue was up for debate before it got uh, overturned, um, there a friend or an ex-friend, now she hates me now, was saying that I didn't have a voice in women's issues because I'm a man. And to me that was like, you don't, you need my help because you have enough women who are not on your side. It's not, it should not be a gender divisive issue. If you have people who are willing to stand with you and support your cause, you should welcome them in, not to say you don't have a voice, your voice doesn't matter. Hey, I'm on your side. No, it doesn't matter. You have a dick. You're not on my. Your voice doesn't matter in this issue. What do you say about that?
Well, I think that we need as many voices in the movement as possible. And I think that, I'm a white girl and, I still go out and fight for the rights of African American people because, you can't. If anyone is discriminated in this country, if any group of people, any class of people is discriminated against, that's a threat to everyone. And so, we need to raise the bar in this country to say that we don't want anyone to be discriminated against. It's a slippery slope. Today, it's women being discriminated against, and then it will be religions discriminated against, and then it will be um, race discriminated against. We shouldn't allow discrimination against any group of people in this country.
You're absolutely right, and I totally agree with
Uh,
you. And thank
Matt,
you for giving me that kind of inspiration for that conversation because I get that a lot. Like, I stand with women's rights to choose. Oh, but you don't have a voice in this. Well, I
oh, oh,
think you should welcome my voice in this.
Matt, and maybe there's a slight difference in what the meanings are in those words. I know when I was marching for civil rights and stuff, the common thread seemed to be one of the common points seemed to be like, we want the allies, but the faces of the movement have to be our own.
Oh, I
So
agree
like,
with that. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
so Matt, we want you as an ally, but you cannot. I don't know what because I don't know what she meant by it, but at least
yeah,
without
no,
the experience that I had is like, we want the allies. We want everyone, because everybody benefits when one group when we're equal. Everybody benefits.
oh yeah,
But the
no.
face, the face of the
I
Black
understand
Party.
you. I understand your
Okay.
point, but no, that's not what I get. And maybe I'm overgeneralizing just a few conversations, but mostly it's from women who are very aggressive and say, "No, we don't." And we don't want your help. We don't need your help. You have to stay
Oh,
quiet.
that's not true. I want your help. I need your help. Anyone with a microphone needs to be helping.
Yeah, and I would think that would be the response. It's not like I want to. I'm believe me, I'm not looking to be the face of the movement, but I think the
Thank
more,
God.
yeah, my God, that would scare some people away. But I think the more people that are willing to stand up and say this is right, you don't turn those people away. But I've been shut down like shut up, we don't need your help. Try to make the cause that as long as women can't do this on their own, as long as half women are against this, women are fighting against women, you need more men to be with you. As long as the female side of this is divided, and again, a lot of that comes down to education or not understanding how bad they could have it. It could get worse. But yeah, it feels like you should welcome everybody into the cause, and no, you don't have to be the face of the movement, but we definitely need your voice in support. So, anyway,
Also, the fact that women don't have equality of rights under the law in the United States Constitution puts us as a disenfranchised class of people. Therefore, we need other people to help us as well, who are of the stronger class of people. So, we need the powerful out there helping us. We need the powerful voices out there helping us.
well, we appreciate you highlighting this subject and being part of the program, and whatever we can do. Equal means equal.org. People go there and do whatever you can to support the cause. Natalie, thank you for being part of the program here, and hope to follow up again in the future. So
Thank you.
good
Thank
luck.
you too. Okay,
Bye.
thanks.
Bye for now. Oh, look at you. What are you doing over there? Now you're indoors? What happened? What?
Well, I'm taking the trash out. We're making sure that everything
You
is,
break
because we're going to
into
be leaving
somebody's house?
shortly.
I think you broke into
Well,
somebody's house.
I would be noticed if I broke in somebody's house.
All right. It's time for our next guest, isn't it? No, we have to. Do we want to run a commercial first? Didn't we? We didn't want to.
I don't know.
You don't know. What kind of producer are you? Oh, you know what? Last night I was looking for some older shows that had not been chopped up into shorts lately, and one of the ones, Psychic Healer or something. And I'm seeing the live chat room, and that Hack Oddity is Andy Baker. Hack Ride Studios guy was giving you shit about the Blind Mike stuff, right? And you had said to him, you misinterpreted my words, or Mike misinterpreted my words. Go back and listen to the tape. This is what I hear you say. And then right after you said that, he goes, I can't believe you're denying what's on tape. It's like, wait a minute. He just told you to go check the tape. I can't believe you're denying what's on tape. And this guy, he was just giving you shit in the chat room. I must have been oblivious to this because I didn't comment back at all. But this went on for like an hour, just like this, what is the Avatar guy? Just constantly giving you shit, and you weren't really coming back to him at all. You were speaking on the camera, but that was, why didn't we offer him some FaceTime? Like, drop the avatar, come on here and say what you have to say in a real conversation rather than just constantly. I mean, eating up the chat room to the point where Foul Mouth Teacher was in there. He's saying, "Please shut up, go away. You're killing my morning here." And
I just want to show you something real quick while I'm walking by. Can you see those lemons? Can you see the lemons in the trees?
I can't. No.
Oh, let me try to get closer. How about
tree, very pretty? Come on, sing for it.
See that?
Oh yeah, I can see that lemon. Yes.
Okay, I'm trying to get. It's hard for me to aim. There we. I had fresh lemonade. Came outside, grabbed some lemons off the tree, went inside, and made lemonade.
I love it, man.
I love
One of my favorite things about living in Southern California every summer when I was 5, 6, 7, 8 years old was my grandfather had a lemon tree in the backyard, and we used to do. I mean, this oranges and lemons, are growing citrus.
Yeah,
very cool stuff. First time you've ever had homemade lemonade? I mean, actually picked off the tree lemonade.
that was the first time I've ever done that. I mean, I used to live in Florida, and it was not unusual for me to like go outside and grab an orange or banana or papaya off a tree. Mango. Sorry, I said papaya, I meant mango. grab a mango and go inside and eat. You know, that was not unusual. But I've never done that in California. This is my first time doing it in California. So,
All right. All right. I'm gonna play a quick commercial, and then we're gonna meet Bob Lehman or Lemon.
okay.
Lehman. Right?
I don't
Because
know. I
you
don't
said
know what my.
Lemon, and now I'm thinking that am I mispronouncing his name? Uh,
I'm going to stick around as long as I can because we're going to be leaving shortly for the airport.
all right.
But I may, but you can, but I'm unlike some of the other people who travel and with their using their phone. I actually have a hotspot in my pocket, so I may be able to like be.
Frank Zappa. You got a spot
Yeah.
to get. Yeah. All right. Hold on. I'm going to play a commercial, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Go check out Ice Design. Ladies and gentlemen, Bob, I want to say Lehman, but now you got me thinking maybe it's pronounced Lemon. Leman. I think Lehman, right?
Yeah. I would think so. Yeah.
He's a businessman, rancher, and fourth generation Texan whose appetite for adventure has earned him or carried him from the remote wilderness of Alaska to elk hunts in the mountains west and travels across the globe. A licensed pilot, a lifelong explorer, Ben is proud of his Scottish descent and has spent years studying the fierce clashes between Highland clans, research that inspired the heart of his debut novel, Between the Tines. He's here now, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Bob. Pronounce your last name for me. Is it Lemon or Lehman? Bob,
hello?
Can you hear? Hello, can you hear me? No, you can't hear me? You can't hear? Hello? You got nothing. Turn your volume up. Oh, now his mic is muted. Oh, Bob. Oh, Bob. Ben. Bob. Ben. Why does it say hello? Ben? Hello, Ben. Ben, can you hear me? Yes, you can hear me? Your mic is not on. You need to turn your mic on. Unmute. I'm sorry, folks. There you go. Hello?
Here we are.
All right, how are you? I'm sorry. I'm mispronouncing it. First of all, I called you Bob. It's Ben. Is it Lehman or Lemon?
Lemon.
Lemon.
Yes,
all right, Lemons. Oh. Welcome. Let me pull up your book. Tell me about the book and the reason for writing it.
All right. Well, it's the title's Between the Tines, and it takes place in Scotland in the 1640s. It's a story about one clan, one Highland Scottish clan that's getting drawn into a conflict from a neighboring clan. And in that process of getting drawn into that conflict, they go through a journey mentally and physically. And it's about the evolution of thought of the clan warfare and the clan lifestyle there in Scotland at the time, which was a very difficult time in history. So it's very much focused on Scotland, Scottish history itself on an intimate level, not the broader conflicts that are going on at the time. And through that journey, he comes to a crossroads, basically, where he's the main character, Aaron, is trying to figure out, do you honor your family's legacy and continue to fight the way your family and clan has fought for centuries, or do you potentially start anew and try to make the journey across the ocean for the colony? So it's a pretty deep novel.
Very cool stuff. Now, did you go to Scotland to research it as part of your research on this?
I did. I made multiple skip trips to Scotland. So it's a historical fiction novel. There's lots of history in this novel, not lots of actual events that occurred in history. All the battles that are in the book occurred, and the outcomes are consistent with history. There's only one battle that was not actually part of history. But so yeah, I went over there. I saw a lot of the castle ruins that are in the mentioned in the novel. I went to a lot of the sites, the historical sites as well. So I did spend a lot of time doing that.
That is so cool because I have traveled a lot in the United States of America and going through some of the Civil War battlefields. People are going to think, well, this is corny stuff. I swear I feel some spirits there. When you were in these castles, did you ever have any kind of those like spiritual moments?
Well, I had moments where I felt I could relate to what they were going through. Like when you're in those castles, it's such a very different environment than we're used to in today's world. It's kind of an out of body, type experience. I'm not saying I felt, spirits there per se, but I definitely felt I could relate to them. I could connect to what was going on. As you go through more of those sites, you start to understand a little bit better how they spent their daily lives, what they saw every day, even, the same views were still there in many instances, the ocean views, things like that. And how difficult life was back in the 1600s around the world.
Yeah. Now I'm going to expose my own really terrible ignorance here. What was it part of the British Empire? Was Scotland part of the British Empire in the 1600s, or was it considered a separate country?
It was considered a separate country. So what was going on? It was a little confusing, but what was going on at the time was the War of Three Kingdoms. So you had three separate countries: Ireland, Scotland, and England. And they were all three ruled by the same king, King Charles. And so there was a lot of attempts at the time to overthrow King Charles's reign. And so you had the Roundheads, for instance, in England. That was the Parliament's army that was trying to overthrow King Charles. King Charles also had hereditary title to being a king in Scotland and also Ireland. So there were three individual kingdoms, and they were not part of the British Empire per se, but they were ruled by the same king.
Wow. Now you mentioned the colonies. Were there specific Scottish colonies? Because when we think of the colonies, we think of the Pilgrims and definitely British colonies coming over. Were there Scottish colonies?
No, so the colony was not Scottish, but the Scottish got to participate in the colonies as well, just like anybody else. And basically, a lot of those were open for whoever it was that, for example, in this case, Lord Baltimore's one of the ones that was English that settled Maryland, right? And he was the authority over that colony granted to him by the King of England. And so lots of different people from different countries could come and settle that colony. But that colony's goal was to try to, promote freedom of religion, freedom in different ways of opportunity, economic prosperity. And so as long as somebody brought, I think it was a ship full of people, about 100 people with them, they could get some land and get going in, whatever enterprise they were trying to get going. So the Scottish definitely got to participate in that very much.
Very, very cool. We have somebody in the chat room who's in New Zealand. He said, I'm of Scottish ancestry. Show your tartan. What does that mean? Help me. I'm
tartan. I don't have it here with me, but it's on the screen. It's right there. It's Clan Lament is what the tartan is that you see on the screen on the title there, Between the Tynes. It's a lesser known clan that was very historical, been around forever, well established, but it's at the centerpiece of this story.
Interesting. Now, your business was running a ranch, right? Do I have that correct?
Well, No, I mean, I do. I live on a ranch. I've lived on my ranch for 20 years. We run cattle, but that's not my primary business. My business was manufacturing.
Oh, manufacturing. Okay, so but the
So you
question
so
is,
you built cows. So you built cows.
So kind of. That's
the question is, was be, because you know, whenever I find somebody who has found some success and then at some point they want to become an author, was this always something that you wanted to pursue, or did you just have enough time on your hands to say, you know what, I need a new hobby. I'm going to start. I'm going to become an author of fiction.
no. It's an interesting story. It's very personal and personally intimate. So basically, I how it truly happened was I had one of my best friends was on his deathbed, and it was one of the last time. It was the last time I would get to see him, and this is in 2013. He had pancreatic cancer and was in and out of consciousness, and he was having a good day that day when I knocked on the door, and his wife let me in and let me go talk to him, and we had our conversation and shared our last laughs and tears, and then as he started to fade out, it was obvious I needed to go. So I started to walk out his bedroom door, and then he yelled at me. He cried out my name and Ben, and he said something I couldn't really understand what he said. So I turned around and walked back to him, and I said, "What was that, John? I couldn't hear what you said." And he said it again, and he said, "Between the tines" is what he said. That's all he said that time. And I said, "John, I don't understand what you're talking about. Between the tines. What do you mean?" And so then he opened his eyes and he came to, just very much attentive as he was before. And he looked me in the eyes and he said, "Ben, between the tines, that's what you're going to call your first book." And so, I was like, first book, and just as fast as he came into consciousness, he went out of consciousness, and that was the last words we ever spoke about it. So I never got to follow up on that conversation with him, but I committed that day in 2013 that I was going to write a novel or a book. I didn't know what at the time, and but I was really, my response initially was, "Oh, gee, thanks, John. Throw that in my lap and throw that on me on top of everything else." So, at the time I was president and CEO of a large company that I had really grown, and didn't have time to drink a cup of coffee on my porch, much less write a book. So I had it on the back burner, and until I started piecing together this novel, or this.
Okay, no.
I just want to say before you ask that question, I just want to say you're lucky that you didn't have the experience, because my father on his deathbed got me engaged to my wife, which he basically said, "Oh, they're going to get married," and then he died, and it's like, "Oh, thanks a lot, Dad."
Obligated you. He obligated.
I think a book is easier than a marriage, but I don't know. But go ahead, TD.
So, no, but I was just, are you sure, because he didn't get a chance to explain it, are you sure he didn't want you to write a book about forks?
About forks?
Yeah.
Between the tines?
Yeah, between the tines.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, that's a good question. I thought it was more about the antlers and deer, because I'm a big hunter. And I was like, okay, between the tines, what is this about hunting that I'm going to write? And ended up, I figured there's in the story here in the novel, there's the title means something.
So this is a fascinating story. Are you telling me that you were not an author at all? You weren't involved in writing like consistently at all before writing your first novel?
No. So until about 2020, I was not. So no, not 2020. 2022, I wrote my first novel. So by then I had decided the direction I wanted to write this novel in, but I'd never written a novel before. And so I did a few things that I wanted to improve my ability or address my ability before I actually started writing this novel. So I wrote my first novel, which was about half as long as this one, still a full-length novel, 75,000 words, but it was in a different genre. It was just flat out, it was basically, I need to figure out my process for writing a novel, how
Wow.
I'm going to do it. I read a lot about how everybody else does it, right? And there's lots of advice out there. I
Yeah.
went to some seminars. I, talked to a lot of friends that are authors and got some advice. But I figured out my process, finished that novel without any intention of publishing it, and then I set my crosshairs on this novel.
Wow. Now, has it changed your life? Are you primarily a novelist now, or do you still consider yourself an entrepreneur, businessman first, and a novelist second?
Yeah, well, I'm splitting my time. This is my first one, and I'm focused on getting the word out about it. It is a trilogy. I will write 2 more novels that are in as part of this trilogy, Forged in Blood, and so I do consider myself an author, and basically going to continue doing that the rest of my life. I have a
Wow.
broad concept here that I'm trying to accomplish, not just with this trilogy, but I want to take this concept that I'm doing here in this first set of series of books here, which is basically telling the story of what was going on. So that was such a struggle in a given country's society, that a significant amount of that population decided to up their roots and leave at the time of the colonies. We hear a lot about the colonies and the struggles there, and the story of the United States after the colonies. But that time period right before the colonies really got going, where there was the old world was still the mindset of even the people that just came over to the colonies. That was a transition period where people were leaving for whatever struggle it was to get away from, to come there to start anew. And so you can find unity and a common thread in a lot of America in that story, no matter what country your ancestors come from. So I
Yeah.
want to replicate that.
Right. Very cool stuff. Now, as a businessman, have you found frustration in the publishing world? Because the publishing world is just, it's really in a state of flux right now. There is so much wrong with it, so much. There's a lot of creativity and a lot of new authors, but because there is so many people writing now, I think the industry, the publishing industry, has just it's just up for grabs and very uncertain. As a businessman, do you see frustration with the publishing industry at all?
What I see is opportunity. That's what I see as a
Good for
businessman.
you.
I've made my life in business as an entrepreneur type situation where I go find the niche opportunities. I seek them out and I outmaneuver the big, the big 800,000-pound animal that is dominating the market. And so I think that the same thing can apply in today's world, because with respect to the publishing, because there's so many different people, different strategies, different different opportunities there available. If you can carve out a niche and figure out how to connect with your audience better than everybody else, because you're right, it is. I do think it was. It's very difficult to navigate and figure out. But there were some key things that I really took away and made my decision on how to approach the market. For me, it was first, I think I found a niche story line here that I just described that I think is attractive to a lot of people, no matter where your ancestors are from. I think it's interesting because history has a ton of interesting stories, like the one I wrote about here. It's fascinating. When you read it, it's incredible. It's gripping. It's thrilling. It's a lot of that, but I think there's a lot of that from the various ancestry of everybody. But so yeah, I mean, I decided to self-publish for a few reasons. The first one was, as a new author, you have in my business background, your negotiations are about leverage. Do you have any leverage as a new author? And I felt, after I started reading about what kind of terms you can expect I was like, I don't. It's not a good negotiation position to be in.
Yeah. Appreciate that. I'm just wondering now, from with all you just said, it seems to me, and this is hard for especially for young dreamers, people who are young artists or creators. It seems to me to get some business savvy might be a good thing before you become an author. It might be, and not like, again, probably a hard sell to say, I know you want to be an author eventually, but why don't you just get some business experience, solid business experience before you get yourself involved in this? But it seems like it definitely has been advantageous to you. The idea of, seeking opportunity where a lot of people just see confusion and just crisis. You chose to focus on the opportunity that presented itself. I think that's part of being an entrepreneur first, and then getting into the authorship part of it. So there's that part of it. As far as your readership, because do you know what it is? First of all, do you know who your audience is? Because I would think history buffs, probably more male than female. Although that's just a guess on my part because of the conflict nature of what was going on. Do you know your audience?
Yeah, I mean, I have an idea of my audience type personality. Time will tell, but I really so you can say primarily male. I'm gonna stretch that a little bit to include females. So this is not a story just about war and battles, and physical struggles. There's a lot of emotional drama in this historical fiction novel. There's love, there is war, but there's the transition of a school of thought. It's deep, it's grabbing. You get to know a lot of the different characters. So I really reached out to the female audience. There's some heroines in there that play critical roles, that are truly warriors in their hearts, and maybe not out on the battlefield, but in the areas where they were able to demonstrate their courage and strength. I took some stories that were actual events in history that happened, that were that happened with women involved, that were the key elements of it, and then I built on those and I brought them in. So I do feel that the core story of pursuing stability and opportunity and freedoms, that speaks to both male and female. Right. And so I that's where I focused my story. But I do think it's people that are attracted to history. And in today's world in particular, you struggle to say, it's such a different world today with all the technology and how people communicate. How do you take the old world lessons that we can all learn from, right? There's good things, but there's also negative things, obviously, about the old world. And so how do you take those lessons and communicate them in today's world in a way that people understand and want to read about? And so trying to make it more of a visceral experience where the reader, feels the emotions and feels the pain and suffering and anguish, the victories, the triumph, the tragedies, all of that. That's how I tried to do it. But I did try to appeal to both sexes in it.
I appreciate that. Well, I am probably your audience because I am definitely intrigued by history. Here's my issue with historical fiction. I've said this many times. Is if and I'm assuming there's a lot of fiction in your historical fiction, but the genre itself can blur the lines. And for me, if I'm reading a historical fiction book, I tend to forget about the fiction part, and in my mind, it all becomes history, and that's a dangerous thing for me, because now I'm thinking I've taken a history lesson, and this is a factual thing, and sometimes I'll find myself confused about what is real. Do you make it clear what parts are actual history and what parts are very, very fictional?
Very much fiction. So, in my intention and what I will do to address that is I have a series that I'm going to be conducting over time, the actual history versus my book. right? And it'll be a little blog for those people that are interested in getting into those details. We're going to have an ongoing presence where we discuss, scene by scene, the various things that are different in history from actual what I wrote in the novel. But I agree with you. You do have to be careful. And I think if it's well done, it's easily
That's the problem. The better the author is, the more you can be confused by what's real. And
well,
what's
yeah,
not.
possibly. But my intention with it was to keep the historical events accurate. So, as I mentioned before, the major historical events that are in my novel are actual events in history. And I do in the back of my book address some of that. In the author's notes section, I do address a lot of that.
Wow.
I just want to say goodbye to you guys. I'm about to head to the airport. So thank you.
Thank
so
you.
Ben.
Hey,
thanks, Ben. Good to meet you.
Yeah,
and Matt, I will see you tomorrow. Yes.
Yeah, I will see you tomorrow. I don't know.
Yeah,
should I go to?
Yeah.
Should I go to minicasino.com and bet on that?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what the bet was today. I mean, if they bet that I show up, that's one thing. But if they bet that I show up on time, then they lost the bet because I got lost in the time change.
Nobody bet.
So,
Nobody bet at all.
Oh,
I put the odds at 10 to 1, but that you would show up, and you did show up. So if they would have bet, they would have won. Anyway, safe flight, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now. We'll carry on in a second. The part I was bringing up, the mini casino part, is that we have somebody in the chat room who has brought up a couple of things about mini casino being a scam. Nobody's promoting mini casino here. I just want to be clear about that. I don't even know what mini casino is. I don't know why you're on that, but anyway. Scottish culture. I want to talk about that because I'm not Scottish. I have some Irish heritage, and there is a big part of confusion where I live, where I grew up. There are many people who are like dad Scottish heritage, mom is Irish heritage, or vice versa, and we tend to confuse the cultures of Irish and Scottish. Are you connected to the culture of your Scottish heritage?
I am. I believe I am. I mean, I understand the concept of the historical Scottish culture that I'm writing about. It's very much about your individualism. Your that rugged refusal to be suppressed as a culture. That you are part of your own distinct group. In this case, the clans, your Highland clans in particular, and you're not going to be dominated by some far authority. That is a similar concept of Texans, for example, or all Americans.
Absolutely, I get that 100%. People forget that Texas was a country of its own at one point, and
Texans don't forget that.
Well, you know what? What part of Texas are you in?
I'm in Central Texas. Yeah.
Okay, I spent a good part of my youth in Western Texas. I went to Eastern New Mexico University. Spent a lot of time in Amarillo and Lubbock, and did some really awkward laboring on cattle ranches out there. Yeah. So I'm familiar with Western Texas more than Central Texas, like Midland, Odessa, like around there.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
very cool.
Texas.
Yeah, it seems to me Texas is still got a lot of that fighting spirit of independence within them, and I know that's a broad generalization, but coming back to the culture stuff, is there, because here where I am, there's a lot of confusion between Irish culture and Scottish culture, and that while there are some similarities, they're very different. Do you see any of that kind of cross, like, generalization of Scottish and Irish cultures being similar?
Yeah, I mean, if you go back in history, Scotland and Ireland, in this time in particular, the 1600s, I mean, they were very connected. So when a lot of the for example, there were mercenaries that were being shared in both directions at the time. The Gallo class, the famous warriors that were really, really, well known at the time. They were being hired in both directions to help each other out. And then, of course, the intermarriages, a lot of the ancestry, came from Scotland or Ireland, came over to Scotland. And so you have very similar bloodlines, very, very similar cultures in some ways, in some ways that are just real. But
Right.
over time, as the terrain in Scotland is a little different than Ireland. Obviously, in the Highland areas, they're much higher and mountainous, and I think cultures kind of start to separate a little bit over time. But there is a lot of shared history there.
This is an off the wall question, but let's just assume that your book gets made into a movie. Who plays the protagonist?
Ooh.
Who's the star of this?
I would say, I honestly really hope, if that did happen, that it is a breakthrough artist, that is a breakthrough.
So somebody who's not already
Right.
an A-list Hollywood A-list celebrity.
I do. I think that. I really hope that's the case. It reminds me of I think there are roles that can yield themselves to that, lend themselves to that. Like, you think of Russell Crowe with Gladiator, right? I mean,
Right. That's
major breakthrough, and he just nailed it, right? He nailed that. I think this is one of those roles. I think it's a role that it's a strong, deep, very passionate role, and I think it is somebody that can become the character as opposed to of an established personality. Kind of changes the character a little bit in this case.
Yeah, that's a great observation. And generally, that's the first time I think we've ever gotten that answer to that question, which is it's something to think about, how unique roles can make careers, and people can get an idea of it. Now, when you were there, when did you actually travel there?
I traveled there multiple times. 2015, 20 maybe 17. I'm trying to remember what years, and I think 2013.
Okay. Now we talk
24.
about wanting to leave there because for whatever reason, to go to the colonies and all this kind of stuff. Is there still lineage to the people that you were kind of writing back? People, all school families who can have some kind of connection to the 1640s that can, I don't know, show you some of their family heirlooms and things like that. Did you?
Absolutely. Yeah. So Clan Lamont is the main character's clan, and they're based in Southwest Scotland. They're a Highland clan in the Cowal Peninsula. So I traveled all around there. I talked to a lot of Clan Lamont descendants that at the time, and they were very helpful. They gave me resources. They gave me tremendous resources on books that are, historical books that are focused on Clan Lamont's history. And so visited a lot of the sites, talked to a lot of the people there in the areas. Everybody knows about their history there at the time, and they still exist. Clan Lamont is still an official clan. There's Clan Lamont Society there in Scotland. It's an official recognized clan among all the other clans. So it's exists. And then of course Clan Campbell is the main adversary there in the novel. Well-known clan, very powerful historical clan.
Very cool stuff. I won one of the memoirs, biographies, autobiographies. Craig Ferguson, a comedian who was from Scotland. Mostly, I don't know if they know that about him. Obviously, he's got a very Scottish accent, but don't realize his story. That is called American on Purpose, and he was talking about the difference between people who come here because they have to people who were born here as American citizens, and people who come here to become American citizens on purpose. And he was talking about a lot about his Scottish heritage and the struggles that Scotland was going through in the 80s when he came here, financially and all that stuff. What is the sense of Scotland right now? Or in the time that when you went there, is it is it a is there a lot of pride in the country? Or because when he talks about it, it was like downtrodden and someplace to flee from again, like the 1640s, like there was enough strife there that I need to go to America and become an American. Is it stable now?
Yeah, I mean, Scotland, I'd say in the last 10 years, and I'm not an expert on current culture in Scotland, I focus more on the history, but in my time and travels been over there, certainly I've seen areas of Scotland that are kind of, don't have a lot of economic activity going on. And I think just like anywhere, like in the US, you can find the same thing in certain areas. There's not a lot of economic activity in certain areas of the US. But and I do think in general, though, if you look at when they had the vote they took to establish their own country only a few years ago, they decided not to, right? They decided to stay in with England. And so, I mean, that's a telltale sign that they're comfortable where they're at, of course, and not that, hey, fighting, I want to be independent no matter what, that we kind of think about Texans, or Americans, but I think, there is a difference there. And I think some of the people certainly voted to do that. And I think those are the kind of personalities you find that come over here more to the US, maybe,
Yeah. So now you say this is going to be a 3-part series. Did you?
Yes.
Do you have the story in your mind already written, or are you just certain that there's going to be 2 more books and you're writing as in the spur of the moment?
No, I have the story. I would say I have the skeleton of the entire story, more than just in my mind. I mean, I've started book 2. I'm in the process of writing that, or at least doing my research and outlining the skeleton story, and then I've started the beginning of it. So it's a story that unfolds over an extended period of time, and it also lends to or it contributes to my decision to self-publish instead of trying to pursue a publisher. I'm a believer you can't rush good ideas. The idea that I'm going to pump something out once a year and be on this timeline, I feel like you can short the reader. You can cut out great. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to let the story massage and come together naturally. And I do think that can matter. So yeah, it's going to be a 3-part series, and I definitely have the outline of that, and I'm excited about it.
Well, I appreciate that. And I'm going to sound I'm a broken record on this, but there was a day when self-publishing had a stigma. Oh, you're not a legitimate author. Today, I think it is so more advantageous, so much better to be self-published than to be part of a traditional publishing house where all they do is really just take part of your money, and they leave you to do all the marketing stuff. They really put no support behind you whatsoever. So that stigma is very much gone. So I don't think people have to be at all concerned with the idea. I think you're probably much better off self-publishing than going with a traditional publishing house. And then you have to jump through hoops for them to just take part of your money. So what it's just crazy. Go ahead.
With the technology, just to add to that a little bit, I went through I went really in depth trying to figure that out, because historically you always hear about the big publishers and all of they have to offer. And at the end of it, I couldn't understand what in the world they had to offer. I had no idea. And like, what am I giving them everything for? And I'm still having to pay for the marketing. I'm still having to do all the marketing. And all they're doing is, if I make it, they get everything. And
Yeah.
you know
And it's so corrupt, and this is why I asked you the question about being a businessman and the frustrations with the publishing industry right now. I have worked as a marketing person for or consultant for, and I got away from it because it's so dirty. And it might be a little bit too late for you, but just for educational purposes, it's very corrupt thing for traditional publishing to do right now is they build up a mailing list and a social media support for an author. They publish the book as either an audio book or a Kindle version for free in a category that it doesn't make any sense. Like for your book, instead of being historical fiction, it would be in homes and gardens or how to paint. Something ridiculous like that for free. Get all the people on their mailing list to download it, buy it for free, so they're verified purchases, leave a positive review, and then when you have enough of those, put a price on it, put it in the actual category it's going to be in. It will carry that bestseller badge and all those great reviews on it, and then Amazon or Barnes and Noble or whatever, automatically the algorithm will push it to right in front of people who are interested in it. So it's really, really corrupt and stacked against you. And I don't know if that helps or gives you any insight on the next couple of books that come out, but that is part of the real frustration here. Another thing is we want to encourage everybody who's listening to this to not only order the book, but to call your public library and tell them put the book in the library. It makes it more visible and definitely helps with the support our authors. If you want good literature to be around for a while, you got to support it. So just putting a couple of those things out there. Now, but you have the story written out. Are you do you have a timeline for releasing the books? Have you thought about it all that stuff?
So right now I'm focused on marketing. The one I have, and I'm going to focus on pushing this out and getting the word out on it. And then I'm going to switch gears and really push hard to get the second book done. But I mean, I would say within a year or a year and a half, maybe 2 years, something like that, somewhere in that window, because these are historical fiction novels. These aren't just, come up with an idea on your head and put it down. I'm trying to actually, research all the history, understand the details of the history, because you have the events in history, but then you also have the motivations for those events, right? Yeah. So, they went to battle, but why did they go to battle here? Why was there a fight here? And why did each side take the side they did? And the Allies, how did they come about? There's just a lot of research that goes into that, and it takes time. It takes time. So, but it's in process, and we'll get it to the finish line.
I just a couple more questions, and then I'll let you go. I'm just I noticed there is a Kindle version. They can pre-order the book now, but is there now, or is there going to be an audiobook?
Yes, we're going to do audio. It'll be released on the release date, but there's also here coming up soon. There should be a physical option to pre-order a physical copy as well. But yeah, there'll be audio book as well.
Very cool. Are you going to be doing the reading, or did you hire a narrator to do it? I mean,
we're I think we're going to go the other route. I'm not. I don't think I have the best radio voice. Maybe I think you got to get the right sound that matches the character. So
well, let me. I appreciate your feeling on that, and I'm not going to tell you I disagree with you. It's your product, your baby. You do what you want. But I always feel a better connection, and I know a lot of authors don't feel like they have a radio voice or a narrator voice, but I feel more connected to it when I know this is the author reading it to me in his own words. I feel more connected to listening to it, more inclined. Now, I'm not I always prefer a hard copy book and reading it for myself, but if you're going to go on a long journey, or you're in the car and you want to take a audio book with you, if I'm going to read or listen to an audiobook, I prefer listening to the author
That
myself.
makes good sense. One thing that you never dawned on me before until you just said that was one thing that the author has to offer in an audio book that somebody else doesn't is they know what they're trying to get across in each sentence.
Absolutely.
And you can read a sentence 5 different ways and get many different points across and stress different areas of that, So I do think there's some value there to what you just described.
Yeah. And I think, and listen, I'm not, again, this is nothing telling you what to do and how to run your thing. But I think if it ends up being too much of a put on Scottish accent, like an American reading, trying very hard to sound 16th, 17th century Scottish, that would be like, you know what? It's am I listening to a radio drama here or what? You know what I mean?
Right. No, and that's how I had to. The same thing applies when I wrote the novel. I had to make sure I had the American voice right, for the audience, the American audience so they could read it and have just enough of a flavor of the Scottish influence to understand that they're in Scotland and, feel connected to that environment, but not overdo it to where it becomes problematic for the reader to listen and pay attention and be interested. So.
Yeah. Well, I wish you great success with the book. We'll do what we can to support it. I'm going to order the book today. And, encourage people out there to order the book. If you're even considering that, please do call your libraries and ask them to get the book. Tell them you're interested in it and have your library order it for you. Anyway.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. And if anybody wants to learn more about it, they can go to benlamonauthor.com.
Yeah, scroll across the bottom. There's a link in the description to make it easy for people. Ben, it's been a privilege and a pleasure to meet you. And let me just take the book out here before we say goodbye. When you're ready for the next book, please do come back or even before that, if you want to come back and just remind people that the storyline is available and there's going to be a trilogy out. Pleasure to have you back anytime. So good luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Have a great day. Bye for now. Ben Lemon. It sounds more French than Scottish when I say it. I'll practice it. Next time he comes back, I'll have the pronunciation right. Anyway, check it out. Link is in the description. Let me take the banner out. What's going on over there in the chat room? Thank you very much. Thank you, Sunshine. I'm sorry I didn't say good morning to you. I didn't see you there with the nicest guy. And we have a bot here warning about Mini Casino. Why are you so angry about Mini Casino? And I haven't brought up Mini Casino. Are you saying it's a scam just so I will mention it so that people will know about it? What is? Come on, PR. What's the deal here? Anyway, I have people tearing at me for business reasons here that I need to look into. What is that? I'm getting text messages left and right, emails, like urgent stuff, business stuff that I need to attend to. Tomorrow, there is no guest scheduled. I don't know what happened to Elizabeth today. Natalie White was in our first hour, and a friend of Elizabeth. Tomorrow, I have no guest scheduled, but TD might be back. We'll see. We're hoping. You know what? I should put up odds on that. I say the odds are probably 2-1 that he'll be here tomorrow. He might be a little worn out from the trip. But anyway, in any event, you know what? I'm just going to call it a day here and just tell people thank you for being here. Have a great day. And don't forget to walk around nappy. Turn on your radio. Bye for now.
I
to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now.